Sometimes when I'm messing around with deck building, I like looking at the legends that no one else is brewing. It gives me a puzzle to solve. Why? How can we make them good? How can we break them and give people a reason to build them? And with over 350 legends released in Marvel superheroes, there are some real hidden gems that are flying under the radar. So I've chosen 5 monocolored legends that have less than 50 decks on EDH Rec at time of recording. In one case, less than 10 decks, because I want to give them some love. I want to show you how you can build them, and importantly, I want other people to be inspired to build them too. So let me know your favorite of these 5 in the comments, and let's give these underrated gems some love. Starting with the most played of these picks, it's Wasp Shrinking Savior with just 46 decks on EDH Rec. This mono blue legend is a 3 mana 1/3, the best creature size, with flying that shrinks a creature on attack and then lets you draw for each creature with a power less than 0 on the battlefield. And this gets really interesting because you could potentially be drawing a lot of cards with this. Wasp's trigger counts all creatures, yours and opponents. While there are a lot of auras that shrink creatures' power for 1, 2, or 3 mana, I think that that's one of the ways this could be built. Each of those auras turns into a fresh card for each turn the enchanted creature remains on the battlefield. But then you're relying on your opponent's creature sticking around instead of being sacrificed or dying to a board wipe. It's tough to rely on your opponents going along with your game plan. And I really like cards like Gravitational Shift in this deck, giving all non-flying creatures -2, -0, meaning all of those 1/1s that may be in play are drawing you a card on attack, with the added bonus of a nice power pump for your commander. But what I see absolutely nobody playing with the Wasp is Maishin the Mind Cage. Sure, this hefty enchantment clocks in at 7 mana, but it shrinks all creatures in play for each card in your hand, meaning it can lock creatures out of combat entirely, and each time you attack with your commander, you're making creatures smaller and smaller, and drawing more and more cards. Round out the list with Buying Veil, Hampering Snare, or Eliminate the Impossible, and you've got a recipe to draw entirely too many cards each turn and protect yourself from being attacked. People are sleeping on this deck. Mark my words, somebody's going to brew it and it is going to kick ass. Then we've got a deck that I'm surprised isn't seeing more play. It's Captain Marvel's Shooting Star with just 25 decks on EDH Rec. And it may largely be that she's a mythic from the Marvel Jumpstart set, which is currently incredibly difficult to find and jacking her price up to about $15. But for 7 mana, she's removal on a stick, exiling opponents' creatures on enters and attack, while gaining them life equal to the creature's toughness, but also gaining us life equal to an exiled creature's power. Note that those two lines aren't connected. We gain life equal to the power of any creature, no matter how it is exiled from the battlefield. Meaning we could be casting a Swords to Plowshares and gaining just as much life as our opponents do. Or we could be blinking our stuff and profiting from it along the way, making Airbender Ascension, Teleportation Circle, or Conjurer's Closet huge life gain swings each turn. And when you start getting into Fiend Hunter or Felidar Guardian effects, you could be looking at loops exiling creatures that exile creatures while gaining life the entire time. And immediately, I can see this turning into a very removal-heavy deck that wins via life gain rather than attacking, with Felidar Sovereign or Aetherflux Reservoir acting as win cons while you blink anything that looks at you funny and send your life total soaring. Soul Sister effects may synergize perfectly here, gaining you more life when you blink creatures in and out of play. And ending the game with a well-timed Eerie Interlude, Lae'zel's Acrobatics, or Semester's End can have you untapping with triple-digit life totals that no one can touch. I am really hoping it's simply availability issues that are keeping this version of Captain Marvel from being more widely played, because she can make a kick-ass commander and deck. Folks may be shy to play a 7-mana commander, but she's a game ender. Believe it or not, the next on the list, also with 25 decks in EDH Rec, is Flatman, a goober with a huge butt. And there are so many ways to build this uncommon 1/10 that I see 25 decks with 25 different focuses in EDH Rec right now. You could build it mono green toughness matters. You can build him unblockable and switch his power and toughness. You could bulk him up in a Voltron build for reliable attacks, or you could go with an activated ability focused deck aimed at switching him back and forth for power and toughness related tricks. And that makes him really interesting. Folks love a good big booty basher, but how good is it when it's a single color as opposed to the 3 colors like on a Doran or an Arcades? And it is a fine idea to make Flatman attack with this big butt. You do have access to cards like Bedrock Tortoise, Assault Formation, or Tapestry Warden. I do feel like it's a more consistent approach to just make him unblockable. Key to the City or Trailblazer's Boots or Whisper Silk Cloak are all fantastic artifacts that mean you can harmlessly attack in, swap his power and toughness, and be doing 10 or more commander damage in a single swing. It's a hell of a lot easier to pump up toughness than it is power. Equipment like Captain America's Shield turn that ass into America's ass, and can give you a strong opportunity to punch in for 18 damage in a single swing while having Flatman unblockable and indestructible. Green's got a ton of power or toughness doubling effects like Unnatural Growth or Zopandrel that get even bigger and even higher too. All it'd take is either of them and a single +1/+1 counter to turn Flatman into a single lethal attack. There's no doubt that Flatman is the thickest in the thicket already, but that badonk has a ton of benefits just as a booty, even if there are even more benefits to having a casual 10 power creature whenever you want. The only downside is that you need a lot of mana for activating his ability each turn. It's a good thing mana is Green's whole shtick, and there are more than enough green mana dorks that'll be happy to help on top of all of that ramp. A 110 is a stat line too good to ignore. I challenge you to do something interesting with Flatman. Speaking of interesting, one of the more interesting villains in Marvel canon, Batroc the Leaper, got a card in the Doom Prevails precon that's so perfect for his character, I had to give him a look. And I was really surprised that only 19 decks were built running this potential win con in the command zone as an option. Batroc, a very French villain, is known for kicking and has multi-kicker, just like Chun-Li's Street Fighter card paid homage to that as well. But where Chun-Li is blue and white and spell-based, Batroc's mono red and deals damage to the tune of his power to X targets, where X is the amount of times that he was kicked. And if that's not an interesting damn concept, I don't know what is. Folks screamed at me when I removed him from the precon during my upgrade, but it's because I want to finally make Batroc a winner, as opposed to the jobber villain that he is. Put him in the command zone where he belongs and win the game by dumping a metric ton of mana into him. Which means this wants to be a big mana red deck, using all the rituals that you can muster, everything that banks mana like an Omnath, and everything that doubles damage so that you can pop off in a single turn and take out the entire table. Think of this like a Neheb deck in reverse. Instead of your mana generating powerhouse in the command zone and your deck packed with damage spells, you've got your finisher in the command zone and your deck packed with mana generating spells. Horizon Stone and Electro and Leyline Tyrant all help you bank mana like you're stuffing cash under a mattress, which you can combine with combos like Braid of Fire to have enough mana to take out the whole table in just a few turns. When you add in Red's rituals, you get even better, like casting a massive mana geyser into your commander to stomp all over your opponent's faces. But guess what? Red does gross stuff with doubling or tripling damage too. More than enough ways to turn just a few mana into enough damage to be lethal quickly. I haven't even mentioned treasure generating in addition to all the mana shenanigans, or Roaming Throne being able to double Batroc's ETB. I know I love a good mono red deck, but this guy redefines a deck that kicks ass. And lastly, a legend that I'm shocked has only 5 decks on EDH Rec as of time of recording. Up and Atom, it's Radioactive Man. No, not from the upcoming The Simpsons crossover, but the B-list supervillain from Marvel. And for an uncommon, he's simple but far from terrible. He's a 3/6 death touch that halves an opponent's life total when he makes contact. That's right, he's a Virtus the Veiled on a bigger booty, and that guy's like $10 right now. And it's the same effect as a Scytheclaw or a Quietus Spike. All you have to do is engineer a situation where you can deal damage to an opponent, and that 3 power might as well be 20 power for all the life they'll be losing. Which means a deck featuring Radioactive Man at the lead will want to do everything it can to give him evasion. Flying, unblockable, or fear, it doesn't matter how, it just matters that you can. So I like effects like Cover of Darkness or Intimidation to give just about everything you control a chance to go unblocked. But how about Shizo Death Storehouse to give him fear? Or Filth plus Urborg combo to give all your creatures Swamp Walk and all your opponents swamps? Combined with more than enough ways to give Radioactive Man haste, and he can be a bullet from the command zone, headed straight for the hearts of your opponents. But why deal half an opponent's life total when you can deal all of it at once? Wound Reflection, Archfiend of Despair, or Bloodletter of Aclazotz triggering once they see an opponent lose half their life total means they then lose the other half of their life total. And that could be a single 42-0 swing out of nowhere. I've built this deck before starring Virtus and Gorm, and it's like building a Phage the Untouchable deck, but so much easier. One-shotting an opponent out of nowhere is such a thrill. If you were a fan of my Tifa Lockhart deck that looked to do the same thing, this may be your next brew. It's no surprise that so many legends from Marvel superheroes have so few decks, but so many of these legends with cool designs really deserve more love. A full half of the legends from Marvel superheroes have less than 100 decks on EDH Rec. Go look them up right now so that you've got some inspiration to brew. Are there any underrated legends from the set that you're already looking at and would like to see me brew for? Let me know in the comments. And while you're here, hit that subscribe button and be sure to check out my sponsors like Card Conduit. They are hands down the easiest way to sell your individual Magic cards without the hassle of traditional buy listing. They'll get you top dollar while handling all of the heavy lifting, from sorting to grading to optimizing your price across a huge network of vendors. And they'll give you cold hard cash for it. You can use the promo code MECHANIC right now for 10% off of all fees. And if you want to pick up the cards for this list, make sure to go check out Card Trader. Use my promo code MECHANIC right now for 5% off your order from any TCG. Card Trader's zero system means you can get cards from all over the world with only one shipping fee. Save money and time today. Lastly, you can check out all of my decks on MOXFIELD. MOXFIELD is the best deck building platform in the world and makes it easy to build decks and search for specific cards with their powerful tools. Have you checked out their drag and drop feature yet? It's revolutionary. Be sure to check out my brews and follow my profile there right now. If you were inspired to brew today, you have to hit that subscribe button. Check out this other deck on my channel right now for more sweet tech. And as always, folks, good luck and have fun.